Alright, you already know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another random recap. In today's video, I wanted to try something completely different, something I've seen YouTubers do where they react to viewers' hot takes, so I wanted to give my own try, except I would put my own twist on it, to where I asked you guys a couple of days ago on a community poll, please give me some of your best hot takes. But instead of just reacting to your hot takes, I'm going to be giving it my own personal grading. Quick disclaimer, this video is not meant to be taken serious. It's meant to be more of a fun idea, a fun series I want to do as like the NFL season continues on. You know, I know we're starting preseason, but as the season continues on, every now and then I would like to have a reacting to your guys' hot takes video. But yeah, this is meant to be a more fun and just chill back video. So in the video, we have 4 grades. We have ice cold, as in, why is this a hot take? You know, I could see this happening 100%. It's like saying I'm gonna walk down the street and I'm gonna look up in the sun. That's not a hot take. You know, that's pretty damn ice cold. Then we have pretty green, which is basically kind of like ice cold, except, you know, you kind of can argue it. And then we have mildly hot. It's not that too hot of a hot take, but it still is pretty spicy. And then we have hot as hell. You ever heard a statement, no chance in hell? Well, that's exactly what hot as hell means. Fucking impossible. Alright, now that is explained, all I do ask is if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. It does help my name get out there more, and it pushes my videos more out there for more people to discover it. Anyways, with all of that being said, let's get into grading your guys' hot takes. Alright, first comment of the day we have from No Bunaga 4. Tyler Shuck, best rookie quarterback in this year's draft. And here we are, not even 1 minute in, and I'm already pissed off. At least, let a guy enjoy his morning coffee without making me spit this shit across my keyboard. Now, this isn't a Shuck is going to suck because he's older than Trevor Lawrence and is barely a rookie, or the fact he's never remained healthy and has been injured every year of his damn career. Now, those reasonings are just a little bit too simple, have been repeated and oversaid. And the last time I said it, I got called a casual. So, you know, I did my homework on this one. Over the last couple weeks, I've been watching his training camp footage and just watching really just about whatever I can find on the guy. To say he's pretty good and he has potential, I mean, I think if he didn't have this freak accident injuries he's had over his career and played a full year, he'd be a lot more known as a talent. But I'm finding a hard time believing he was worth a second-round pick and instead went 3 rounds way ahead than he really should have. Aside from that, he's decent. He has the tools you want in a star-caliber quarterback. He's especially got the frame, but I mean, come on, man. He's playing for the Saints. No offense to any fans out there, but this team is hot fucking garbage and looks like a roster that screams tanking without even starting the season. If there was a team I guarantee you that was going to tank for Arch, it's them, and they are already perfectly set up to do so. Like, it's not a great spot. They got some solid to great pieces, but half the time they're injured to begin with. Not to mention, even his best receiving option is so damn injury prone, he wears a medical alert bracelet so they already know who to call when he gets his yearly concussion. So yeah, that's not a good sign. But anyways, either Shuck is going to shine with brilliance with the lack of talent he's got and be the path for the future, or option 2, they're gonna tank because this team is horrible and they're not gonna be a great helping hand for his growth and development. He's probably gonna go elsewhere. And option 3, he just sucks. I mean, that's probably the most realistic one. Have you seen the training camp footage? I don't mean to be a hater here, but this is probably one of the more realistic answers. And I might be wrong, but I stand firm on my belief. He should have not went higher than Sanders, Gabriel, or even Milrow. I don't believe he was better than all 3 of them. I say that and people are going to lose their minds with this one, but it's simply just because he was picked in the second does not mean he's going to be great. And there's still a chance they even go with Spencer Rattler, who's playing lights out at training camp. So there's plenty of ways to go here with this pick and just him as a prospect. But to answer your question, no, I don't think he'll be the best, unless a lot, and I mean a lot of things, go in his favor, and this team would probably have to play at his best it's ever been for that to be happening. It's not impossible, but I'm not counting on it either, so I'm gonna grade this one hot as hell. Alright, now we have a comment from Purple Kool-Aid. Jets go 10-7, make the playoffs, and upset a team like Baltimore or Buffalo in the wild card, while beating the Chiefs in the second round, but lose to Baltimore or Buffalo in the AFC Championship. Fucking what? Holy shit, like the name says itself, you are sipping that Kool-Aid. I'm just saying, double check and make sure it's actually Kool-Aid and not fucking alcohol, because there's no way you actually typed this sober. I mean, did you actually read it back to yourself? Upset a team like Baltimore or Buffalo in the wild card. Then you proceed to say lose to Baltimore, Buffalo in the AFC Championship. I didn't know we had a gulag for NFL teams, because that's clearly what's happening here. According to you, they get eliminated by the Jets. Hang on, stay with me for a minute. Come back 2 weeks later and beat the Jets for the championship. I'll have what you're drinking. Hell, I probably need a drink after reading this and trying to comprehend this. If this is a series of satire, you hurt my brain. I'm giving this take hot as hell. And I'm gonna give myself an Advil just for thinking this one out. I mean, what the actual hell did I just read? Coming from PT3118, it says, Shedeur Sanders somehow managed to escape the Cleveland Browns. I love how now we're treating Cleveland like it's North Korea. Anyways, yes, I agree. Sanders needs to leave Cleveland. I wish he got drafted elsewhere, and probably would have if he knew how to do an actual proper interview without telling some scout he fucked his mother, which is what it feels like the way the teams describe it. But of course, to the Browns, that doesn't mean a damn thing. You know, they're the same team that has started a quarterback who has more sexual assault cases than he does years in the NFL. But still, they are the only team I know to draft a player and then proceed to want nothing to do with the guy with how they're limiting and trying their best to set him up for failure. And by all means, I ain't saying Sanders is this generational talent, but I don't think the Browns do the man any favors. And it's already bad enough. The owner already came out and said, oh, I didn't pick this guy, someone else did it. Like, way to go, shithead. That's one way to inspire your rookie who's yet to take one professional snap. What a healthy organization. Once again, daily reminder, this is the same team that traded away Baker Mayfield to bring in a professional creep. Point is, this organization is a joke, and they really have no patience with anybody, so Sanders sucks like a rookie is supposed to. Guarantee he's gone and they're going in a new direction with the 4th or 5th new quarterback they brought in as of last week. For God's sakes, an organization that's willing to trust and put Kenny Pickett higher on the depth chart says fuck this team and I need to get far away from it as possible. But then again, this is Shedeur Sanders, someone who has said he was going to come here and he was going to change this team. And I fully believe his ego won't let himself give up on the team so fast, so I'm going to give this one mildly hot. I can see it, but at the same time, if he looks good in the preseason, expect them to keep him by a leash, take credit for success, and say he's going to be a Cleveland Brown. Take number 4, Gavin567 says Caleb Williams becomes the first Bear to pass for 4,000 yards. He threw for 3,500 yards as a rookie. Gavin, come on now. I asked for hot takes, not a take as cold as Santa's nutsack, and here we have this. And I get it. It's probably a hot take because it hasn't been done before. I get it. You know, etc., etc. I understand that part, but looking at his offense this year and his head coach, you can bet your bottom dollar it's done before the end of this year. And if it's not, I have some serious questions about this team. I give this take ice cold. Next comment comes in from SGA the GOAT. Caleb Williams does not have a breakout year, and him and the Bears as a whole flop in the new system. See, I somewhat kind of agree with this comment because on the contrary, I know I just said Caleb Williams is probably going to throw for 4,000. He threw for nearly 4,000 last year and they were still pretty ass. That should say plenty. And from what I hear in training camp, what Ben Johnson says with a sloppy performance, and with Ben Johnson also, there's a chance he can be the next Josh McDaniels. Like, I'm just saying, he is a first-time head coach. Never has head coach before in his career, so we don't know what the guy's gonna look like. He was a good offensive coordinator, but he might not be that great of a head coach. So who really knows? I mean, the team's got a lot of new pieces. You know, new O-line, one of the best tight ends in the draft, so it's tough to say, but there is a chance you're probably about right. But at the same time, you might be wrong because on the other hand, the way I view it is I don't see them doing any worse than last year. They now have a solid front office that's not consistently on fire like it was last year being ran by fucking idiots, so it's difficult to say that it's gonna be that bad again. Which if it is that bad, that's when I would officially consider this a flop. I say anywhere from 7 to 8 wins and above is a giant success. Although looking at this schedule, this shit looks like a living nightmare. I mean, they are going to have to run through an absolute gauntlet. I don't favor their odds either, but I'm not saying it's impossible. But at the same time, it is the Bears, so I am not expecting anything crazy to begin with. So either this comment is going to be 100% correct, or it's going to be 100% the opposite. There really is no in between. I'm going to give this one pretty green. Alright, next comment comes in from Joe Bro 1811. Bengals defense improves by a lot, and they win the Super Bowl. Oh shit, I hate doing this. You know, telling a Bengals fan their defense isn't gonna improve and they probably won't win a Super Bowl in a damn while because of it is as tough as telling a kid Santa Claus isn't real. Alright, jokes aside, if this defense can be even barely above average and actually get some stops and let Joe Burrow do Joe Burrow things, it can very much be as true as it can be false. Like, I kid you not, I told everybody going into last year's playoffs, we better hope the Bengals don't get in. Because man, can this offense fuck you up quick. They might have had a shitty defense, but they have one of the best offenses in the entire league. So yeah, it's the same thing this year. Elite offense, bad defense, but if they can step up just the tiniest bit and get the wins that matter the most, which according to their schedule this year, it looks very favorable, and just like that, they're in the playoffs, and I can tell you now, they are not a team I'd like to face, especially with a pissed off Joe Burrow who's coming off his best year yet, being cheated out of the playoffs, let alone 5,000 passing yards. They're a team I sure as hell am not going to take my eye off of. So I'm going to give this one hot as hell, not because I don't trust this offense. I know this offense can take them all the way if given the chance. It's the defense I got to see first, and even then, you still have to beat the gauntlet that is the AFC just to get to the Super Bowl, and that's not even considering which threat comes out the NFC. I say good luck to that one, but the Bengals defense is sure as hell going to need more than luck, perhaps a damn miracle. Giving this one hot as hell. Next comment from Sawyer Lampkin's Football 9. Not a hot take, but kinda is. Joe Burrow leads the Bengals past the Ravens to win the division and MVP. I'm a Seahawks fan. Honestly, this is pretty valid. I mean, I don't got much to say it's too unrealistic. And Burrow should have been in the MVP talks last season. So like I said earlier, if the defense can get their shit together and Joe Burrow does what Joe Burrow does best, then yes, this can happen, although it's going to be a tough feat, depending on how the Steelers and Ravens look. Notably the Ravens, like you said in the take yourself, which is the challenge itself. So I can't say I see it happening 100%, but there's always a good chance. I could see it this year. If he has another damn 5,000 yard season, yeah, he's taking that MVP. For the division, they need a lot of things to go right for that, so I'm going to give this one mildly hot. Next comment's coming in from Bradley. Drake Maye takes a jump and becomes the best second-year quarterback. Alright, so assuming we don't count Daniels or Knicks in this conversation since those guys already basically broke their ceilings, then 100% I absolutely agree. I think for what he's been given, which hasn't been much, and yet still shines through, it was a very large sign, and I mean large sign that he's the guy the Patriots have been searching for. And now after the draft and the offseason they just had, it's good to assume the help he needs is on the way, and he's gonna go crazy this season. The team record, different story. Drake Maye, electric, and he's gonna make them a fun team to watch this year. I'm gonna grade this one pretty green. Alright, next comment comes in from Bond the Cuber. Broncos can be contenders to win the AFC West and make a playoff run, and the Panthers can win 10 to 11 games if Bryce Young plays good and the O-line doesn't suck. Well, instead of a hot take, we got two hot takes. Thank you, Bond. So here's take number one. Broncos win the AFC West and make a playoff run. The inner Chiefs fan of me wants to say not a chance, but something feels strange this season, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, there's no denying. The Broncos are pretty damn good now, especially the defense, so I feel the division's gonna be up for grabs. And only time will tell. I mean, you can also consider the Chargers and the power of their hypotheticals, and even the Raiders, who got a decent squad this year and a quarterback who actually knows what he's doing. So I can't be really too confident picking someone to win now, but for the playoff run part, I can easily see that happening as long as Knicks in this offense stays healthy. We know the defense is great, so if both sides do their part, I really cannot see how the Broncos don't make the playoffs. So I'll give this a mix between pretty green for the playoff part and mildly hot for the division winners. Now, for take number two, Panthers win 10 to 11 games. Honestly, not as bad as it sounds. Defense improved, offense improved, Bryce looks so much better, and their schedule looks fairly matched. So at the minimum, I see 7 wins here. I mean, this ain't the same Panthers team 2 years ago. Those dark days look to be going away, and now they look to be a sneaky dark horse to win the South. So while I would say yes, let's try to bring that number down to about 7, 8, or 9, and it's very much more realistic. I'm going to give this one pretty green because I have a really good feeling about this Panthers team and what they can do this year. Alright, for the next comment, we have Kim on a project. Jonathan Gannon cements himself as a top 10 head coach regardless of Kyler's play. Alright, so in 2 years of coaching, he has a 12-22 record, seeing large improvement last season compared to his first. And you said regardless of Kyler's play in the take. I mean, yes, it can be possible. I know their defense got a ton better, but ideally, if you haven't noticed, mostly, and I say mostly because Mike Tomlin, but mostly all the top 10 coaches in the league have their guys. We're not even sure if Kyler is the guy for Arizona. That, and it's still a little too early in his head coaching career to really say otherwise. I think after another season or two, we could somehow stick in Arizona saying they don't fire him, but if he can get a few more winning seasons under his belt, then maybe that conversation could be had. But for now, he'd be even lucky to scrape top 20 going into next year. Giving this one hot as hell. The next comment comes from She Loved DJ12. Josh Allen isn't a top 5 quarterback. Now hang on a damn fucking minute here. I know rage bait if I've ever seen it, but if this is any ounce of true, I want what you're smoking. Hot as hell, probably one of the worst takes I've seen since the first two. Next comment comes from Jay Jettis. Rams win the NFC and Puka gets 1,500 receiving yards. Looking at their schedule, this looks like a very high possibility. That and it's the Rams. I mean, I never once doubted Matthew Stafford. So as long as he's healthy, which already doesn't look too good right now, but yes, fully healthy and still gunslinging it, and this defense still looks as good as they do, then I don't doubt this take at all. Although, I will say, with the Eagles, Lions, Buccaneers, Commanders, and even Vikings, if McCarthy can start off where Darnold finished, it's going to be a giant fist fight for the #1 seed. So I'm going to give that take mildly hot. Now, for Puka getting 1,500 yards, what the is the sky blue? Does a bear shit in the woods type question is this? Cups out the picture, Puka slides in a wide receiver one, and we know Stafford feeds on a consistent basis. And for barely even having 11 games last year, he was on the edge for 1,000 anyway. So if Puka could stay healthy for all 17 games, he gets that. Because last time he played a full year, he was only 20 yards off of 1,500. So yes, Puka can do it as long as he stays healthy. I'm giving this one pretty green. Next comment comes in from Dylan Nevers 8017. Not for this season, but by the time Derrick Henry retires, he is the league's all-time leading rusher. You know, that's a pretty damn good take. I like the question, Dylan. Thank you so much. Now, I want to bring this up, and while to some it sounds very much achievable, I don't think some people realize how much work he still has to do for this to actually be a reality. So, all-time of Derrick Henry, as of right now, has 11,423 rushing yards, with an on average of, let's say, 1,200 yards every season at a minimum, with the maximum of being 2,000. But we're going to use 1,200 as the base number. Anyways, he ranks number 19 at the age of 31. The all-time leading rushers, of course, no one other than the greatest back of all time, Emmitt Smith, who has 18,355 rushing yards, and he retired at the age of 35. So taking into a factor, Henry's not even at 12,000 yet. He would need 6,932 yards to catch Smith. And using our base number of 1,200 rushing yards a season, that would require 5 more seasons, and that's saying he stays fully healthy. But now assuming he gets 1,900 every season with the Ravens like he did last year, it would take him 3 to maybe 4 seasons in order to do this. So in other words, it's really hard to imagine. I'd put it like this. He's got a 50 to 40% chance of being top 5 of all time, and overall has a 1% chance of beating Emmitt Smith. It's not impossible, and I'd love to see him try, and even without it, I think he's one of the best to ever do it. I mean, he's what got me into loving Alabama football, so trust me, I'd want him to do it, but it's pretty unlikely. Just because the era we're in compared to back then and how the run game was utilized, I'm gonna give this one mildly hot and somewhere between the lines of hot as hell. It's not impossible, trust me, it's not, but it's very, and I mean very difficult to break. And this is still all assuming he doesn't fall off of a cliff some point in these next upcoming years as he ages. Like, all it takes is one bad season, one injury, and the challenge is over like that. Like, we are talking, he would have to be at his prime every game for the next 3 years straight for this to even be a possibility. Never say never, but there's a reason it's one of the safest records in all of NFL history. I'm gonna give this take hot as hell, but thank you for the question. I really did enjoy this one. Next comment comes in from Chris Thompson 3172. JJ McCarthy will have more passing touchdowns than any other 2024 quarterback. Daniels, Nix, Williams, Maye, and Penix Jr. No. Look, I like McCarthy, and I think he'll be great with this system that made Darnold look like a superstar out of all the quarterbacks. So when all you have to be is better than a Sam Darnold to make this offense operate, yeah, he's gonna do fine, but I feel saying he's throwing more touchdowns than the other 5 who all have rookie experience with no experience yet himself is a crazy ass reach of a question. Maybe for his second year in the league, but for his first, I feel like it's a far reach. Like, you gotta understand, he's going to face his struggles, and he's not gonna come out the gate firing and playing perfect football. I think he's got the advantage because the weapons he's got, and he'll be the best wide receiver in the league, but I doubt he plays better than the other 5 who all look to be getting ready for pop-off years themselves, notably Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. Unless he's the next Tom Brady or everybody gets injured, I just don't see this one happening yet. Good question though, I'm gonna give this take hot as hell. Next comment comes in from CJ Godin. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the league if healthy and is better than Josh Allen and Mahomes. See, some of these takes, it's like I don't understand it because they don't feel like a hot take and they feel more of a personal opinion. Now, it's one thing to say Joe Burrow's better than somebody like Anthony Richardson. I can agree with you there 100%. But it's like, to say a hot take is one quarterback's better than another good quarterback, I can't really fully agree, and I say it's more just of a personal opinion. Because hot take, you could say anybody is better than anybody, and everyone's gonna find a way to disagree if it's two good quarterbacks. Like, for example, you could say Brock Purdy is better than Dak Prescott. Brock Purdy fans are going to agree, and they're gonna say, hell yeah, Brock Purdy's better. And then there's gonna be Dak Prescott fans who say, no, Dak Prescott's better. There is no perfect answer. You say Allen is better than Burrow, people will disagree and argue. Flip it the other way around, people will disagree and argue. There really is no correct or perfect answer to this one. Because why you can't say Burrow does this with that, you know, like, oh, his defense is garbage, you know, Allen wouldn't do the same. But you can't say that because you don't know how Allen would do if he was given the weapons Burrow has. Even though the O-line was garbage, we don't know what Josh Allen would look like with T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. And you can't say Burrow is really any better because, again, you haven't seen the man on other teams. Like, for example, you swap the two. Does he really do any better than Josh did on the Bills? Like, it's a tough question for that reason. Because you have to take in their surrounding pieces and their individual talent because all of them are special in their own ways. One is, if not one of the most accurate, best pocket passing quarterbacks in the league, and the other is one of the best dual threat players. The difference between the two, like a statement I saw earlier, people game plan against Josh Allen, not against Joe Burrow. They game plan against his weapons. I think that perfectly summarized this, and I like the way it was worded. Like, the way I saw it best after my rankings video was, can't argue the top four, you know, the Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, Burrow. Everybody's gonna arrange their top four in their own way, and it still can be pretty damn correct. And that's also depending on what makes a quarterback the best quarterback in the league. I'm gonna give this one mildly hot. Next comment comes in from Jess. Burrow is better than Lamar, and I'm sick of crackheads saying otherwise. You know, we just had this damn fucking whatever. Here we go again. Blah, blah, blah. They're both unique in their own ways, and the argument I see on both sides is, one is a two-time MVP, multiple Pro Bowls, and does all this without a loaded offense. Where Burrow, the argument is he made the Super Bowl already, is one of the only few quarterbacks to beat Mahomes when it matters, and if it wasn't for his defense, he'd have a ring, or at least would have made the playoffs last year. And people will say, give Burrow Ravens defense, they win the Super Bowl. You know, vice versa. Give Lamar, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, they win the Super Bowl. Which, again, truthfully, we will never know. And this question really depends on what you base it off on. If we go just individual talent, now I'm taking Lamar, who's if not one of the most talented quarterbacks in NFL history. But if we go with who's more clutch, I want Burrow. So it's just another argument with no perfect answer other than what you believe in. Like I said, the top four can be arranged in any order possible, and it works for just about everybody. Once again, I'm going to give this take mildly hot. Next comment, we have another one from Purple Kool-Aid. Hopefully he's not fucking drunk on this one. Niners go 10-7 and make the playoffs. Doesn't sound like a hot take, but with their schedule, you would expect a better record. Honestly, that's pretty spot on. I mean, taking a look at the schedule myself, I counted around 10 to 11, maybe 12. And after the year they just came off of, I'm sure they want to do better. So 10-7 is very realistic, especially with a healthy team and a healthy Christian McCaffrey. Like, we can all admit, last year's team was pretty fucked up. Half of them were in the ER anyways. And with the 10-7 record, making the playoffs is very much a possibility as well. I'm going to give this one ice cold. Alright, next comment comes in from William Soul 9067. The Jets actually put everything together and finished with a winning record while the Dolphins tanked to the bottom of the AFC East. Again, with the two takes in one. Anyways, you know, for as crazy as this seems, I see it. I might not see much in Fields, I'll admit. I might not see him as a superstar quarterback, or I don't see him much more than just a solid backup, but I can easily be wrong. I mean, him reuniting with Garrett Wilson is bound to go crazy if you know anything about their Buckeyes days. But of course, that's still a what if, and that's if Fields got much better at processing and being able to read defenses. Him, I'm not completely sold on yet, but I do like the move, and with the right support, it's doable. The run game looks to be great with hopefully a bounce back here from Breece Hall. The O-line got better, defense is still solid, new head coach, and an easy schedule. They look to be a team that's going to fly under a ton of people's radar, so at max, I say 9 wins with a minimum of 6. Again, the schedule looks good, and it feels to be anything other than ass. There's a really good shot here, so I'm going to give this one pretty damn green. And as for take number 2 here, we have the Dolphins, so let's talk. I'm going to say pretty green right off the bat. I have no hope in this team. Sorry to any Dolphins fans, it's nothing personal, but when I say I can smell a complete complete reset in the air with this team. You bet your ass I can sense it. And I mean every word of it. This team is ass and needs just to blow up. Like those times that this supposedly elite powerhouse that was supposed to be this dark horse Super Bowl team, man, those times are over. It is done. There really is no more. Can they put this together? Or look at this roster and its weapons. All of that is gone. They're there, but it's like, it's not the same. You know, it's ran its course. It peaked in 23 and has been on the decline since. And I hate it. And I mean hate it. They paid Tua. Look, good guy. But everybody and their mother knows he cannot stay healthy. He's got more check-ins at the hospital than he did starts last season alone. Like at this rate, it's not looking forward to watching Tua and the Dolphins. It's just waiting until Ewers or Wilson takes over. It's just another make or break year, as people like to say, where he plays fine enough to keep his job, but not good enough to do anything ever with the team. And before you say I'm a Tua hater, this guy was once my quarterback, so as much as I want him to succeed, he can't keep himself on the field. And is probably one more concussion away from just calling it raps, whereas you're stuck with him for at least 2 to 3 more years. That and Tyreek. Trade the man. Look, trade him. Y'all should have traded him, or at least it should have been done. Like, it's clear. He does not want to be in Miami. Like, after the Jets game last year, or him taking to social media, retweeting any trade rumors he could find. But then again, can you really blame him for wanting off this sinking ship? It's like watching the Titanic sink. You're damn right I'd want off. But of course, leave it up to the Dolphins. You know, they're gonna keep this diva around saying he didn't mean it, and he could change with the power of friendship. I'd trade him. I would have already done trade his ass. I would have sent him to any team for anything I can get back. Like, he is a cancer to the locker room. He doesn't want to be there, so why would I want to keep him around? I would trade him. Fire Chris Greer. Fire him if you're going to rebuild. Fire Chris Greer and fucking go in a new direction. I'm firing him and I'm putting McDaniels on the hot seat and just go from there. There's plenty of directions to go with this team, but I would prefer one away from what they've been trying the last couple of years. And with the Patriots getting much better, now having an actual head coach, and now having an answer at the most important position, if healthy, they're bound to climb within the division. And for the Jets, like I said, if Fields is not ass and actually lives up to the hype his cult-like fans give him, and the O-line does its job and the defense can cook, they can easily be an 8-win team. So it's really about tied with the Dolphins for third best to being the last in the division. So I'm going to give this take mildly hot with a chance of pretty green. Because again, my opinion is just an opinion until the year ends and we really know what this team looks like. Because while they look like an absolute hot mess, if Tua could remain healthy, and that's a strong if, because it feels inevitable at this point he's going to get hurt. But healthy, if upside comes, they're still a 9 to 10 win team. And at minimum, if things go wrong, as usual, 7 to 8 wins, so according to your take, there is a chance. So yes, I'm going to give you mildly hot with a slight chance of pretty green. Alright, coming in at number 19, we have Freaky Borger. Edgar Cooper ends the year being in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Alright, so if I'm correct, he missed a good chunk of last year, but when healthy was pretty damn good and looks to be a potential star. So yes, he can be in the conversation just as about any other good defensive player who has an impact on their team. Like, it's one thing to be in the conversation and be recognized versus being a finalist or even winning it. So in the conversation, yes, I can see it. Winning it is a whole different topic. Because for the amount of defensive talent we got this year, it's tough to say who's gonna win it. But as far as him being in the conversation, I can absolutely agree there. I'm gonna give this one ice cold. Alright, next comment comes from Philly Nation 76. Justin Fields will be a top 15 quarterback next season. Look, I'm just gonna say both of us the conversation and save myself the pain of screaming my voice out here and just put this in hot as hell. Does that work with you? Great, works with me. Next comment comes in from Bryce Wright 3015. Jaguars win the division. That entire division is really up for grabs. 2 seasons ago, I would have said Texans got this on lock for years to come. But after last season, it's still as up for grabs as it always has been, and the Jaguars got the talent to claim it back. So it really might just be their year again. Unless the Texans can somehow get the O-line figured out, which, spoiler alert, they didn't do a damn thing to address it. I'm already going to go ahead and count out the Colts because, I mean, they already counted out themselves. It's the Colts. And when your choice to lead your team is between Danny No Dimes and Anthony Display Only Richardson, I'm choosing the revolver in the corner. So trust me, nobody is worried about them. And the Titans are barely getting it all together and probably will not be up there in division talks till next year or so unless Cam Ward is just like Daniels or Stroud and completely turns the franchise around within a year. From the looks of it though, both the Jaguars and Texans have easy schedules, so it's going to pretty much be a foot race till the end of the year for who represents the South. So I'm going to give this take pretty green, because for as easy as I could say I doubt it, with Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr., if Trevor Lawrence can just bounce back, this team could be electric, and they might be a wild card favorite. So I'm going to give this take pretty green. Next comment comes in from AP. Aaron Rodgers has a bounce back season, but the Steelers still go 10-7. Rodgers threw for nearly 4,000 last season with just about 30 touchdowns and only 11 picks. I don't know what you expect as far as bouncing back, because I think for him being up there in age, stats like that will be good enough for this team and a much needed improvement over the last couple of years and what they've had at the quarterback position. And the other half of your question says the Steelers go 10-7. 3 things are guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and somehow the Steelers getting 9 or more wins. So yeah, that's pretty much guaranteed. Giving this one ice cold. Next comment comes in from SimuLord. Now here we have my boy with a massive comment. Let me just say, I appreciate this dude like crazy. He's in every poll I post and has been here for damn near as long as I can remember. So this one's for you, Chief. Let's break this one down section by section. Detroit goes 10-7, just missing the playoffs because a stacked NFC North taking 3 of those playoff spots. Okay, so he also says the Bears do make the playoffs. I can agree to disagree here and just say he's on the money with it, but that'd be only if the Vikings kept Darnold. With McCarthy, I gotta see how he rolls with the squad first to say, okay, they're a playoff team. But I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt, say it works. Packers making the playoffs is pretty much a given. I mean, Lowe's finally got some help on offense, and if he can stay healthy, again, it's a given. And now we get to the Bears part of the comment. Bears are the only tricky one here. As much as I want to believe they're gonna make it, as much as I want to believe them, I really can't until they prove me wrong. And looking at their schedule, I just can't see them having more wins than the Lions. Even though the Lions have a massive gauntlet of a schedule themselves. Like, my take is I don't think Detroit does as great as people expect, but I can't say I see the Bears doing any better. That one gets mildly hot. And now for his second take, he has Tua suffers a career-ending concussion in week 2 and Patriots make it to the conference title game. If by conference title game you mean AFC Championship, I ain't completely ruling out because Daniel showed me otherwise, but I can't say I see it, especially in the AFC. Like, this conference is stacked from damn top to bottom, and with how many teams they would have to run by to even get there depending on how the seeds go next year in the playoffs, and that's if they make the playoffs. I can't say they make an AFC Championship. There's a chance, there's always a chance, but I feel it's stupidly slim, at least this year. Maybe in the next 3 or 4, Maye's got a really good chance of being that guy, and if they can get the right guys around him, you bet they're gonna make one. For this take, I'll be giving the Patriots AFC Championship game part hot as hell, but for the Tua part, I'd say mildly hot. It might happen, but I say around week 6 or 7 and you'd be spot on. And now we have take number 3. Washington beats Denver in the Super Bowl. You know what? I'd pay money to see this matchup. I would pay a fuck ton of money to see these two go at it. I bet it'd be a damn shootout. Although I would probably take the Broncos just because their defense. I mean, for Washington to make the bowl, I could see it. But again, with the AFC side part of it, it's so stacked, it's hard to say which team really comes out this year, next year, and the year after. Like, there are so many damn good teams on the rise. But in this case, it's either the Chiefs or it's somebody new, you know, rinse and repeat. And for the Broncos, you'd have to pass at least 1 or 2 of the big 4 if the Bengals somehow get in. So it's kind of still a difficult one to say. So again, with this take, I'm going to give this one hot as hell. See, now these are hot takes. Hot takes, while they might not be true, required a good amount of a thought process, so I can acknowledge when I see a good hot take. Appreciate it, SimuLord. Next comment comes in from BeastBoy9088, and he's got a fuck ton here. So let's go through each one. Tennessee Titans will win 10 games this year and win 2 playoff games. Hell no. Hell no. That take is going straight to hell, and I will personally deliver it there myself. I mean, hell, you could have said 1 playoff game, and I would have probably said, alright, you might be onto something. But 2 playoff games. 2 playoff games. 2 is astronomically wild. Like 10 wins? Possibly. That depends on Ward's development and how the offense rolls under his leadership. But 2 playoff wins this year in the AFC especially is on the same level me thinking I could fly because I watched Superman. Fuck no. The second take Beast Boy has is Cam Ward will throw under 10 interceptions. You know, that's pretty green. I mean, he only threw 10 exactly once out of his 5 years in college, which does show great signs already that he doesn't put the ball in harm's way. I would put this in ice cold, but it is the NFL and that's a large jump, so there's always the possibility that he can go over 10. So I'm just going to give that one pretty green. And his final take, Travis Hunter will be one of the worst starting defensive backs in the league. I find myself wanting to disagree because if you've seen his training camp footage and the fact that he almost made an OBJ type catch at the interception, I want to say great things are expected with Hunter, the way he's always in a position to make a big play. But of course, it's just training camp. You know, you can never take training camp the same way as it is on an NFL field. And we really have no clue how he's going to look in an NFL game. And that's even if he's a starting corner and isn't just playing limited reps at the position and plays more as a receiver. It's still unknown how the Jaguars are going to utilize him, at least until the season starts. I would say though, he is still a special talent, so I wouldn't completely rule it out, but I can see what you're getting at. I'm going to give this one mildly hot. TG Star 4 says Dak at his best is a top 5 quarterback. You know, I mean a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people are going to disagree, and then some are going to agree. When I say Dak Prescott is one of the most disrespected quarterbacks in the league at the moment. I think if he was playing for any other team that was not the Cowboys, you know, because haha, it's the Cowboys, any player there gets just automatically disrespected. I think if he was doing what he did somewhere like at the Rams, the Niners, even the Lions, he would have much more respect on his name. And I think he is a talented quarterback, and I think his stats say he is a quarterback within like the top 10s, but I feel like top 10 is a much better range for Dak. Top 5, I feel you just can't put him top 5. You just can't. Obviously, you got Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, Burrow, you know, however you want to organize that order, go ahead and do it. But at the 5, there's so many better other quarterbacks you could plug and play there. I mean, you can even put Baker there, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford. There's so many guys you could put here, Justin Herbert. Like, my point is, there's guys you could put here that are much more deserving of the top 5 spot than Dak Prescott. I'm sorry, but if he was really a top 5 quarterback, a top 5 quarterback would have already had a playoff win. In my eyes, I have Dak truly around somewhere like between 12 to 15. He's somewhere around that range. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but I don't believe it. So, you know what, for this take, I'm just going to have to give it mildly hot with a tiny hint of hot as hell. And that will do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching another random recap. I really hope y'all did enjoy this video. I wanted to try something different, you know, include you guys a lot more, because without you, my channel's really nothing. So, you know, I wanted to give back and actually listen to y'all. I asked for y'all's hot takes. Y'all gave me some good hot takes. Some of them were questionable and some were pretty damn good. And I know I missed a lot of good comments, so trust me, I plan on doing a part 2 if you guys really want to see it, if this video gets enough support. And if I do, please re-comment it. I promise you I will see it this time. But anyways, with all that being said, I will see you on the next Random Recap.